Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dan here, and first off, I'm going to say sorry for not recording for a while. I recently got back into school, so lots of classwork and stuff I have to get done. So my education takes priority over the channel. Sorry, but I am back, and with well, one of the new tanks in the game, the Tier 5 Japanese heavy tank, the OI Experimental. Basically, I drove the Tier 2 and Tier 3 tanks on this line, hated both of them, heard the Tier 4 one was absolutely awful as well, so I just used free experience to get up to this thing. And this thing is very, very good. So here we are on Himmelsdorf, standard battle winter. I am top tier. Now, a lot of people will tell you that these tanks are horribly overpowered, and my experience with this one in particular is exactly the opposite of that. The armor on paper looks almost as good as the one that you would get on the KV-1, except if you were to look at it, most of it is very, very flat. At least with the KV-1, you get some pretty good sloping. And the weak, even though there aren't really weak points on this tank, the armor itself is very easy to penetrate. And considering these are known for being relatively well-armored vehicles, a lot of people are going to be firing premium ammunition at you just automatically. So, this, I believe, was my 4th game in it. And this one actually turned out pretty good. So, just trying to see if I can get shots on any of these other tanks. This 100mm gun, yes, this Tier 5 tank gets a 100mm gun. Has 130mm of penetration and does 300 average damage. Very, very deadly. Of course, you have to offset that with a rather long reload, which is about 10 seconds, which for a Tier 5 tank is pretty slow. So we plant a nice shot into the KV-1. He appears to be using the howitzer, so his shot's gonna be next to basically ineffective against our armor. As you can see, he's only done about 250 damage. Well, I've almost shaved off. In 2 shots, I almost completely killed him. Of course, the Hetzer having troll armor, of course, it just completely bounces right out the front. That's the nice thing about this thing, though, is that this gun, if it penetrates, can probably kill most Tier 4 tanks. And high damage roll can kill most Tier 5 tank destroyers. So it's a very, very dangerous gun. Now, in a Tier 5 match, this gun and the relatively good armor, I wouldn't say it's great, I prefer the KV-1's armor over this, but it can be considered overpowered. But once you start getting into Tier 6 and Tier 7 games, it's very, very underwhelming. Although this is a reasonably fast heavy tank, its top speed is 40 kilometers an hour, but on flat ground it usually only reaches about 33, something like that. So, unless you're going downhill, you're not going to see that top speed. But if you are going downhill, this is a 100-ton tank, and 40 kilometers an hour is more than enough to do significant ramming damage. So, yeah, first impressions of this tank are very, very good. I definitely am going to say I enjoy this thing thoroughly, even though the armor is a bit underwhelming. Oh well. Now, the reason why I chose this game is because, well, this was my first top gun in this tank. As you can see, it's pretty much neck and neck at this point. The problem is, though, is that we've still got 2 artillery pieces and they have none, so all of their tanks are completely effective. Our artillery pieces rely mostly on the people who are still alive. Our BT-7 artillery is saying that I'm the hero. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not. I think he's being legitimate, but no idea. When you've played World of Tanks long enough, you really don't know anymore. So their enemy BT-7 artillery, who was harassing me at the beginning of the game, and I just decided, you know, I'm not going to bother with him. He is now harassing our artillery, which ends up getting him killed. But considering he was a tier 3 in a tier 5 game, he did pretty good. I got 4 kills. I mean, that's not something to be ashamed of if you're a tier 3 with a howitzer. So, 2 enemy tanks left. Both are really close. Well, both are really within the one-shot kill area. So I just need to land shots on them. Our BT-7 artillery is like, oh, can he carry? And the thing is that I have no doubt I'm going to win this game because it's a tier 5, well, Chinese medium tank that is a knockoff of a Russian. And the gun itself doesn't have extremely good penetration. And he's going to have to hit me several times while I only have to hit him once. I was going to sit there and wait for him to come around the corner of that building, but I just decided, you know what? I might as well just go for it, make this end faster. Of course, my first shot misses. The inaccuracy on this gun is rather great, as you would assume, considering it is, well, a 100mm gun on a tier 5 tank that does 300 average damage per shot. Yeah. But for my... I think this was my 4th game in this tank and my first top gun. So, very, very good turnout, considering, you know, I had just basically gotten around to driving this tank that day. So, this is a very good start to the Japanese heavy tanks. Anything prior to this is awful. I haven't driven the tier 4 one, but I've heard from a lot of people it is awful. If it's anything like the tier 3 one, which the model looks very similar. Tier 3 one was horrible. Tier 2, horrible. I haven't driven the tier 1 because I just skipped that. But this is definitely where the Japanese heavy tanks really start at. Don't get fooled by the tier 3 and tier 4 one. Those are basically just very, very slow medium tanks. They're not that great. So anyway, that is my first Top Gun in this tank. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and expect a review of this tank on my channel at some point in the future, because I have a feeling I'll be playing this for quite some time, considering, well, I have to get the top engine on this before I want to move on, because that's going to be very necessary. So yeah, if you guys like this, please let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe, comment, I just said that. Like, share this video with your friends on various forms of social media. Let them know how absolutely amazing I am. I couldn't keep a straight face saying that. And expect some of what I've been working on outside of gaming as in playing games. Expect some more of my current projects on the channel in the relatively near future. And I will catch you guys next time. Take care.